Hey everybody! I don't know why I seemed so enthusiastic there. Maybe it's because I get to spend another beautiful day playing the Binding of Isaac Rebirth with/for you fun folks. Yumheart, Deadbird, LPEF, P9FT. It's like we have the worst parts. Well, actually, I guess Yumheart is like the best part of being Maggie, but it's like the worst part of Eve. Let me put it this way: the worst part of my least favorite character in the game, and then the best part of like my 6th favorite. That's not that good, but I will say that I'm actually happy with this start. Can you see why? I'll give you a minute there. There's a right answer as far as I'm concerned, and that's that we have the curved horn as our trinket. I think it's arguable that the curved horn is actually the best trinket in the game. I will say, by the way, that Yumheart on what is basically a blue baby build right now is hilarious, but I'm feeling pretty good because of that curved horn. If we didn't have the curved horn, I would consider this to be probably like a sub-optimal Eden start, maybe even a shitty Eden start. But with the curved horn, I think it's a below-average Eden start, but not that bad, you know, relative to the other starting characters in the game. Oh, here we go. Literally, I swear to God, Nick is the nicest dude in the world, and I hate to badmouth him here 10 seconds into this video. He messaged me during the last episode, and then when I signed back onto Skype, he's like, "I'm sorry I messaged you during your video." And I said, "Dude, that's not your fault. I should probably just learn to sign out of Skype." Waited 20 minutes. No response. Start the run. 10 seconds later, this motherfucker sends me a message asking, you know, what I want to play on the stream today. Now, you could argue that that's what an ironic setup. Nick has no idea. Or you could argue, hey Northernline, why don't you take your own advice and sign the fuck out of Skype before you start a video? That's very, you know, I'm a lot of things, but one of them is definitely self-aware. I should probably sign out of Skype before these episodes, but in its own way, it's kind of its own callback at this point, isn't it? It's true, man. I should really sign out of Skype, but, on the other hand, those interruptions, they give me something to talk about, you know? It's like a recurring segment on like a late-night TV show. You're like, oh, there's the Skype message again. He's my favorite character. Mike Myers plays not only the main character, but also the Skype message in all of the Austin Powers films. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Do you think I can get a second secret room plus a key for a bomb here? Normally, I wouldn't trade a bomb for a key in this situation because we have no bombs, but I figured we'd give it a shot with that added potential benefit, and it didn't work out that fantastically. Or did it? As we just got an HP upgrade, and now we can actually fill up that red heart without using Yumheart. Not an enormous fan of the Gurglings fight. I'm going to try to focus down one here. Try to hit him, like, on the right side of his origin point, just to keep us as far away from him as possible. Keep him, you know, pushed up against the wall instead of getting up in our own face. He's dead. And now we just focus on the other one. It's not going to be the fastest boss fight we've ever done, but who cares? And thanks to Curved Horn, this fight is actually a lot easier because we're killing those flies in one hit as opposed to having to, you know, take 2 hits, which would really make us inefficient at fighting the Gurgling's main body itself. There we go. Not bad at all, and the Halo pickup is extraordinary. Okay, this is, like, actually a really good start. I don't feel like I've necessarily had to work for it that much, so I'm not going to take too much credit, but definitely this is, it's feeling like a pretty solid Eden start. Infestation, maybe not that, stellar. Oh, and now we can't get into that room because I took that, pill for the health upgrade. Ooh, the Joker card we'll use at the first opportunity. Basically, that's our first situation in which we don't get to deal with the devil. I'm thinking a deal with the devil on this floor could actually allow me to get into that special boss trap room. 5 room is a forget-me-now. I love it. I'm going to use it after we finish everything else. And actually, I wouldn't mind a regular forget-me-now at this point. Like, It's better to not have to give up our spacebar item, but let's be honest, I'm not that attached to Yumheart. If we could replace it with something better, or just get rid of it, I'd probably be fine with it. How to jump is not quite a lateral move. I think it's better, but by how much? Yes, exactly. We're probably not going to go to our shop on this floor anyway, so I figured we'd open that up. And it ended up not be... Well, it's... I mean, Pinky Eye is actually a... Excuse me? Pinky Eye is actually like a pretty good trinket, but Curved Horn is substantially better in my opinion. So I'll try to use How to Jump effectively. I know that there's a way to use it. You kind of get like iframes out of it, and that gives you some invincibility you can use to dodge incoming projectiles, but... Or, you know, just getting hit in any way, I guess. But, I'm gonna probably not use it for that too much because I don't understand that, and instead I'll use it for garnering consumables that I otherwise wouldn't be able to get unless I had the ability to fly, which is not an unlikely pickup, but we'll see. I don't have it yet, do I? Or we could do it, you know, something like that, and against enemies that are charging us down pretty quickly, get out of their way. As long as we don't actively, like, jump into another one, that should be fine. You know, there's that old saying, when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And that's usually used as like a negative thing, is like, you know, when you only have one purpose in life, you try to, or not purpose, but when you only have like a limited set of skills, you try to apply those skills to things that they're not necessarily relevant for, you know? Like if you're, if I'm trying to think of a good example here. Maybe in computer programming, if you're just learning it, and you only know like, you know, creating objects or something like that. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Just let me Northernlion, just get back to parodying, you know, early 90s rap jams, please. Okay, I'll do my best. It's like when you're Illmatic, everything looks like Nos. No, it doesn't really make any sense. Anyway, I was gonna try to turn the analogy on its head and say, well, maybe, you know, when you've used a screwdriver your whole life, you don't even know what nails look like. So what I'm trying to get at is that maybe, because I never use How to Jump, I don't understand how effective it could be. It's kind of got like a little sharp plug thing going on for me, where I understand that sharp plug is amazing, but I've never had amazing uses out of it. Maybe it's time to turn ourselves into a hammer temporarily, and I'm not talking about the MC variety, the Mick Hammer. Might as well take it. I don't think there's any reason really not to. And Dark Bomb is just an extraordinary pickup. That should have been in my Frank Underwood voice, which is not good, but... Dark Bomb. That is an extraordinary pickup. That is not good at all. I almost slipped into more of like a Samuel L. Jackson temporarily there. So this is crazy. This is just like an insanely powerful run right now. I'm very unhappy with that Frank Underwood. Dark Bum. I get like, the longer I do the impression, the more it becomes like a Civil War era like sugar plantation owner. Dark Bum. Well, I never. You know, I'm trying to. I guess we might as well go to the 5 room right now. It's not like we're really getting that much out of this. I do say, Dark Bum is a good item, which I'm happy to have. It's not really there. I don't think Kevin Spacey needs to worry. His job's probably secure. Apparently he's like pretty famous or something. He was in that Sam Mendes movie, Fievel, An American Tale. That's the worst American Beauty joke of all time. Just let it waft over you like a plastic bag and then disappear into the wind forever. We have bombs, so I can throw this down here. It's actually a pretty convenient location for that, and to be honest with you, I could use the key. I could use the key. Is that a PS Vita? I gotta get one of those for my car. Every time, I'm not spoiling anything with respect to House of Cards here. I'll spoil that impression is of House of Cards. I haven't, you know, lampshaded it at all. People are probably a little bit confused. Should have had to jumped away from that. But every time there's like a video game reference on House of Cards, I'm like, you know, there's like one person that works on production somewhat high up that's like, I've been playing this game, Monument Valley. Shit is dope. Wouldn't it be crazy if we made it so Frank Underwood plays video games? Anyway, it's neat though, I guess. Very poor damage on my part. We were close to the HP cap, and we are no longer. I'm really hoping that on this floor we get our second deal with the devil, but I doubt it's going to happen. I think that, oh, that could be a second secret room, but I blew him up too far away. I think that we do get the penalty for having gotten a secret room, or sorry, a deal with the devil on the last floor, even though it's technically kind of like a lateral floor. But, we'll see. I mean, either way, this is just going to be anecdotal. It's not going to prove anything one way or the other, but if we... Because it's like a 75% chance to not get a deal with the devil if you got one on the last opportunity to get a deal with the devil, we can be relatively confident that it would be explained the cause of one way or the other. Like, we'd have some confidence in causality if we got one right now. And we didn't get one, which means that certainly it does penalize you. Otherwise, on floor 2, we would expect to get one for sure. So growth hormones is fine, and we'll use our Joker card right here because there's kind of no reason not to. And I'm very happy to have gotten Dark Bum and also paid the Krampus tax on our 2nd floor. Like, that's pretty extraordinary. If we get Krampus's head, I don't know, man. We used it last time. Maybe it'll be good to get some, oh, never mind. I still think it's going to be good to get some affinity for our how to jump here. So maybe I can at least have a little bit more of a deeper appreciation for it, potentially. Curse of the Corn. I'm not really loving my range or shot speed right now, so Lump of Coal is maybe a little bit of a muted positive, but a positive nonetheless. I'm happy to have it. And for once, that's like the, well, not for once. That's intellectually dishonest. However, for the first time in what feels like 4 or 5 runs, we actually got the Lump of Coal payout instead of the Krampus's head payout, which I'm very appreciative of. It's a weird thing for me. I'm actually getting kind of into, like, I like talking about potential balance changes. I never thought I would get there. It's a pretty good trinket, but we're going to stick with Curved Horn. I never thought I would get to that point in Isaac, but I actually like talking about potential balance changes now. I think it's kind of a cool exercise in, like, you know, game design. I struggle with how to deal with Krampus. I think most people in the Rebirth community, and don't let me speak for you. If you disagree with me, that's fine. I think most people in the Rebirth community think that Krampus shows up too often, which is not it's not like he makes the game too hard. Rather, it just has a tendency to kind of paint all runs with a very similar brush, you know? If you know that there's like 50% of runs you have Lump of Coal, 50% of runs you have Krampus's head, with a choice to take Krampus's head at least, it takes away some of the variability that makes Isaac so great, and that's one of the things that a lot of people really like about the Binding of Isaac. I think the way I lean towards like how I would like things to be done in Rebirth, I should say in Afterbirth, is just make it so Krampus shows up like way less often. Or, like, I like the idea of Krampus being like a themed boss who has kind of a set payout, but another way to do it is just have him pay out with like the same pool that the Fallen pays out with. So you're getting a deal with the devil, but you have to fight a boss for it. Now, most people would probably rather fight Krampus than pay HP, I'd have to guess, because Krampus is relatively easy most of the time. But I think it's maybe like a more elegant solution than just, you know, having Krampus show up and pay out with the same 2 items on almost every single run. I'm interested to know what people think, though, and it's all, like, intellectual. I don't know if this is actually going to happen. From a balance perspective, there's a couple of things I would love to see changed in Afterbirth. I would love to see golden chest pools become larger and maybe a little bit less good because, you know, Fate, Infamy, Bob's Brain, Cricket's Head, like there's a lot of really, really good stuff in there that tends to make your run super, super good. I'd like to see a little bit more shittier items in there. Don't shoot the messenger on that one. Yeah, we'll totally do this. Great damage there, very productive. So productive, took you to the candy shop. Rebalance my item drops. Wait. And then we'll have a sale up. Keep going until you hit that spot. Whoa! That's the best I could do. On short notice. There's a joke in there somewhere, though. When this YouTube thing falls through, and we all know it will, you can find me making jingles for Steam sales. Probably a very lucrative career that does not exist yet. The other thing, along with, I don't want to call it nerfing necessarily, but along with rebalancing golden chests to maybe make them A, more varied, and B, a little bit less good, I would love to see Krampus show up less often. And that's not necessarily a change that makes the game innately more difficult or easier. Just less, the runs would be less samey, I hope. I don't really care how it's rebalanced as long as, you know, as long as it works. I'm not a game designer. I'm assuming they have probably better ideas than I do. I'm just spitballing as somebody who, you know, plays the game every single day. And still has a reputation for being quite shitty at it despite having like a 94% win rate. Anyway, the stem cells pick up via Pandora's box. It's fine, you know. I'm glad I went to the curse room. It gives us more fuel to trade away for the future. If you're wondering, how the hell do you have 10 lives, Northern Lion? Remember, we picked up the Ankh earlier. It's one of those things that I really doubt we're going to end up using, but it's kind of like life insurance, right? You know? I mean, literally, that should be the description of the item. Life insurance. You hope to never... This sounds ridiculous. Because what I was going to say is, you hope to never have to use life insurance. And I guess in a way, you know, you do sort of hope that you'll just live forever. And I mean, you don't benefit from your own life insurance. What I'm trying to say is that my metaphor game is way off today. You gotta have 4 cups of coffee before the metaphor game actually works. And I'm only on a cup of coffee like number 2, so I don't think it's ever gonna get there for me. It was worth it for Balls of Steel as far as I'm concerned. We don't really have too much interest in going to our shop considering we're already at the HP cap and we can't go to the secret room because I used all our bombs getting that Balls of Steel pill, which probably was not that worthwhile, but let's head down to the next floor. I mean, it's a 1 run right now. That coffee's too hot. I think from watching these episodes, if you put together like a montage of all these moments where I scream like, ah! Or I'm like, I took a sip of that coffee, but the coffee's too hot and it burned my tongue. You know, you probably are gonna be like, is Ryan okay? Like, can he take care of himself? I actually live not too big of a fan of that. I actually live a rich and independent adult life with my wife, who I love very much. But, oh, that's pretty sweet right there. There are some times where even I'm like, man, I'm not as intelligent as I wish I was. Here's the problem, alright? If you're like 14 right now, you're probably not going to listen to this advice, but you should, alright? Oh, we should let, or I think you should, which is a bit conceited of me, but, when I was 14, I was like, the only thing that matters is school. So I was like a 14-year-old who knew, like, calculus and mathematical proofs and stuff like that. Oh, it's a great item. And I didn't spend enough time learning practical skills, man. I was so concerned about school. You know, school's the metric for success. And in some ways it is. You know, if you're a genius and just book smart, that's totally fine. But I wish I'd learned some more, man. Even sometimes, like, I'll be loading a dishwasher and I'll be like, I wish someone had taught me how to load a dishwasher when I was like 10. I didn't learn how, this is true. I learned how to make grilled cheese sandwiches when I was like 17. I talked to my mom and I was like, Mom, you know, I'm gonna be like moving out to college next year. And you know, that was a good experience for me because that's why I can do householdy things. And I've lived alone, or I don't anymore, but you know, I have lived alone for years and been fine. Probably as a result of moving away for college, but she's like, yeah, I'll teach you how to make a grilled cheese. I was like 17 years old. There's like 17-year-olds in other part of the world that are like, you know, well, I don't want to say like fighting wars, because that makes it sound terrible, but you know what I mean. Like, they're doing practical stuff, man. They're like members of society. Productive members of society, I should say. That goat head pickup is real nice, by the way. And I'm not trying to say that my parents did a bad job of raising me, quite the opposite. I think I've turned out to be a fairly well-rounded individual as a result of their guidance. But I think I got a late start on it because I was too focused on book smarts, not enough focused on, or not focused enough on, I wouldn't even call them street smarts. I would just say, you know, practical skills. Now that I'm like, you know, it was like when I was in high school, and this is when I was younger, so I'm not... This is not going to be something that's going to make me sound like I'm a nice guy here. But, you know, you're taking, like, academic classes, and you're sort of looking down on the people that are in shop class. And you're like, oh, you know, you're in shop class? You're only going to get a job helping people fix their homes and building furniture and other practical stuff like that. I'm going to get a job working with quarks and neutrinos and securing billions of dollars of funding from the government. And then people are going to be like, why are they spending it on this when we have people that are sick? Anyway... now I'm 26, and I'm like, fuck, man. I wish I took shop class instead of like fucking geography. It would be really awesome to be able to like build furniture and have practical skills, work with my hands. Fucking like, you know, if I had a car, fix my own car or something like that. That shit, if there's one, and you're not gonna, no one's gonna listen to this. If you're like me, and I know, because I had friends that were like me. I know there's a lot of people out there watching these videos. You know, you're probably in your IB, AP classes or whatever. And you're looking down on the kids in shop. Do yourself a favor. Oh, actually, okay, don't. Talk to your academic advisor before doing this in case it ruins your chance of getting into Harvard because you dropped, you know, linear algebra to take shop. But anyway, you know, if you've got room, don't take a spare course. Go take a practical class, man. Take shop or auto shop or something like that. And you might be shitty at it to start with, but that's exactly why you have to take it. You know? Better to take a class for something you're shitty at and become not shitty at it when you're like 16 than it is to do it when you're like 26. There's no shame in it either way. But for real, man. I mean, it's a little bit different for me because I am now obviously employed in a career where in a literal sense, or like a strict sense, I pretty much use none of the skills that I learned in all the, you know, science and math courses that I took in high school and university. Although, the skills that I learned outside of the classroom in college or high school and university, I think helped me out a great deal in this quote-unquote career. I'm gonna blow this guy up to hopefully get some keys back. That did not work, but it sort of worked. But yeah, man, if I could go back, I would love to drop, like... People are always like, I want to learn, and I didn't finish that thought yet, but people are always like, I want to learn another language. Fuck that, man. I want to learn how to, like, fix my own car. I want to learn how to build, like, a table. I'm very envious of people that can do that, and it's not really fair. It's not like you have it's not fair to be envious, I should say, because it's not like you have a talent at it, usually. It's a learned skill. I'm jealous that you guys were smart enough to... We're not doing boss rush here. It's only catacombs, too, so let's take chariot. You guys were smart enough to learn that skill. I'm just realizing that now. So if I can drop one knowledge bomb on you that's unrelated to the Binding of Isaac, because I can't drop any knowledge bombs related to the Binding of Isaac, as we all know. You know, if you're coming from like a full academic course background right now, go take a practical class, man. Or, you know, like, get a hobby that has you working with your hands. It'll make you a more well-rounded individual. But I know that, you know, people aren't going to take that advice, because if I'd gotten that advice when I was 15, I wouldn't have taken that advice either. But, you know, if you're in college right now, you know, you're coming close to summer break, which blew my mind when I was in high school, by the way. When I went to university, and they were like, courses run from September to December, and then January to April. I was like, fucking summer vacation starts in April? Or usually like the start of May? And the answer is yes, so that you can like work in the summer. Anyway, that's, at least at the school that I went to, that's when summer vacation was. So yeah, you have that to look forward to, man. But take some kind of next year, man. Instead of using your elective for some kind of bird class that you're not, which is like a colloquial way of saying like an easy class that, you know, is basically just fun. There's nothing wrong with recreation, but you can have fun in other ways in college. You know, you don't need to take a fun class. Why don't you see if you can find like a practical class, man. I wish that I'd had a different. I wish that I had this attitude about stuff when I was a little bit younger. Anyway, that's Northern Lions. It's not like my life's going down the shitter or anything like that. I just wish we built a lot of furniture recently, and I was like, how do I use a ratchet set? You know? You're gonna have to do that stuff, or you're gonna have to pay somebody to do it. Better to do it yourself. It's almost, maybe, you know, just you reach a certain age, you kind of like start to become your own father. But I'm like, man, it would be really satisfying to fix my own shit. But anyway, this is becoming like super fucking preachy. I'm telling you, I'm gonna get a YouTube message like 6 years from now. Some guy's gonna be like, I was on track to become the world's first 15-year-old doctor. And then I listened to your video and I became like a professional birdhouse maker instead, and I find it much more fulfilling. And I'm gonna, you know, Google image search beardedmannodding.gif and then send it to him and be like, I'm glad to have helped, man. not super glad to have, you know, indirectly deprived the world of a physician, but you get the idea. Anyway, how's this Rebirth run going? Well, the reason we've gone off on such a tangent is because... I'll get that key. The reason we've gone off on such a tangent is because there's effectively no risk of us losing. We have Satanic Bible, which we have now made even stronger as a result of the Nun's Habit. We have Dark Bum. We're not in a losable position. Our damage is still suboptimal. That'll change, though, because we have the Goat Head, and we've already paid the Krampus tax. So we're going to pretty easily be able to, you know, to use my favorite phrase, apparently, we're going to be pretty easily able to ball out of control and steamroll the rest of this run, I think. Yeah, Dead Bird, don't, like, go for the dude you should be attacking. If Hanged Man Chariot, I don't know, Hanged Man might be more useful for us. Maybe, or it might be less useful, you know, you can make that case as well. I am a little surprised, I'll say, that we're only on the Depths Part 1. That's, probably directly related to the fact that I spent 15 minutes talking about how, like, something that I could have easily summed up in one sentence. I wish I took shop class in high school. It burns me up, man. Really chafes my chestnuts a little bit, because we, in the Ontario Secondary School Diploma Program, which is a fancy way of saying how you got your, you know, high school diploma if you lived in the province of Ontario in Canada, you needed to take a shop class. But I came at it from kind of like an accelerated middle school program, and I'm sure that a school administrator was like, we can't trust these Poindexters with power tools. So they made like a computer shop class instead, which is basically like the very foundations of how to use a computer, which we all knew already. I mean, it was only like 2002, but we'd been on the computers for like, you know, at least 5 or 6 years by that point. We probably knew more than our teacher. So in the shop class, people were making birdhouses and learning how to use, you know, saws and lathes and stuff like that, and, you know, epoxy. And we were just like, literally, like, I've told this story before, but on our final exam in that class, there was a question that was literally like, to test your competency with search engines, go to Google and, like, image search this word and copy and paste the first picture into this Word document. And that'll be, like, that was 10% of the exam. And we thought it was great because we got to play Flash games all class. And they were like, yeah, if you're in the shop class, you have to work like a fucking asshole. I wish I worked, man. I wish I'd worked. Out of respect for you guys, I'm going to take Sacrificial Dagger because I took Mom's Knife on the last run. And Sacrificial Dagger is awesome as is. And we could only take one. Curse of the Blind. Oh, no soy milk. No soy milk. What about this, though? Isaac's room, but it's dirty, which means it just takes us down to the next floor. Unfortunately. Anyway. I'm not, you know, the most important advice that I can give you is just do, like, be happy. But at the same time, man, take shop class. We had, like, I think we were, like, my generation, I should say, was, like, right in that phase where the Canadian government is like, we've been telling everybody to go to university, and now we don't have any pipe fitters. So people were always like, in all of our classes, they were like, you know, you should really consider, like, starting a trade. You'll always have a good job, you get to work with your hands, you'll learn some stuff, and you'll make a lot of money, actually, because there's a lot of demand for these jobs. We were all like, fuck you, teach! I'm gonna pay 40, by the way, I'm not complaining about this, because I know in the US, education is much, or post-secondary education is much more expensive than this. We're like, fuck you, teach! I'm gonna get an undergrad in something unemployable. But I'm not gonna realize the implications of it until I've already graduated. Because you guys are forcing me to choose what I want to do with the rest of my life when I'm 16, 17 years old. Anyway, this is gonna say, it sounds like I'm super bitter about it. I'm not. I understand, you know, it's a tough system to run. However, I'm just saying, man, should have paid more attention. I'm not saying I want to be a plumber or a pipe fitter or something like that, but you know, I have friends who are like, you know, masons or plumbers or pipe fitters, and I'm like, damn, man, you're always gonna need pipe fitters, man. I don't know. You know, I'm gonna be 40 years old and be like, what am I gonna put on my resume? I'm pretty good at the Binding of Isaac, and then the interviewer's gonna be like, wait a minute, were you Northern Lion? You fucking suck, man. Did you see episode 403? You dropped Satanic Bible and took Book of Secrets instead? What the fuck is wrong with you? We don't want an idiot like you working for our company. And also, oh, come on, guys. It was all a dream. I used to play Isaac on a stream. Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre up in the limousine. I gotta find a mid-priced sedan that rhymes with limousine. Anyway. You're hired. So yeah, no pressure if you're like 17 right now. Just live it up, man. Chubb just like smoke. That's the other piece of advice I'd like to give you. Actually, the other piece of advice I'd like to give you is if you're 17, don't listen to the advice of a 26-year-old. As a 26-year-old, I have to say that I'm a genius. Hey, Cricket's head. But if I was a 36-year-old, I would think that I'm an idiot. So you should really just find the world's oldest person, is what I'm trying to say, and take advice from them, because that's the only way you're going to be confident that it's valid. Anyway. That is not a guppy item, much to my chagrin. This is one of those good, arcades, though. People always get so freaking mad at me in real time. I see it happening in the stream chat during the NLSS. People are like, what happened to playing the Blood Bank and the Demon Judgment at the same time? You freaking ding-dongs. When I used to do that, people got so mad at me. And they said, you know you can play the Demon Judgment twice instead of the Demon Judgment and the Blood Bank once each. And then I started doing that, and now I got people who are telling me, why aren't you playing the Demon Judgment and the Blood Bank? There's your answer, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But at the same time, fudge off, Tony. I'm doing the best that I can. Alright, blow this guy up. Okay. Blow this guy up. That's not really what I was looking for, to be 100% honest with you. We should go back to our... Is this depths too? How are we so slow, man? We got like a pretty good run going here. Catalyst is actually a trinket that I consider taking because I'm pretty bad at not walking over the spikes, but we've gone a little while without incidents, so I guess I'm not going to sweat it too much. What is this bad boy? 2020! It's so good! 2020 and Cricket's head on the same floor. How do you like me now? Now that I'm Toby Keith? Platinum selling recording artist. Even though I smell like a queef. Look, I don't have anything against Toby Keith. It's just very unfortunate for him that his name rhymes with, you know, pushing out of air from the vagina. There's not that much else that rhymes with Keith. I'm trying, man. Belief, there you go. But that's kind of like that's a pretty erudite word to throw into a parody of that kind of, you know, simplicity. You gotta take the 2-heart item. Okay. Well, we've ruined 2020, but at the same time, have given ourselves a lot more damage. And the ultimate irony is, now that I have Brimstone, I really wish we took Mom's Knife, because the Brimstone Mom's Knife synergy is hilarious. Kind of, like, worse than Brimstone by itself, but hilarious nonetheless. You shoot, if you've never seen it, well, I apologize for ruining that your first time for you, but you shoot basically a barrage of knives. It's what everyone wants, like, Monstro's Lung Mom's Knife to be, basically. But it works. Mom's Toenail, I really don't love that item. I recognize, by the way, that we could go to that library, but I already have potentially, arguably, the best or second best book in the game, and beyond that, I really want to save our keys for the chest. But this is a win. I think we've known that for quite some time, probably, with the items that we've been getting, but the Brimstone pickup definitely seals the deal, if it weren't already sealed. I don't know why, confidence is like a big determiner of whether or not I'm gonna get hit by these wall masters, man. I thought for sure I was gonna get hit by the wall masters. There was what I was trying to say. I had low confidence coming into it. Another Spirit Heart. I mean, the Dark Bum pickup pretty much sorts this run out all by itself, especially because we got it so early. And the go-ahead is not hurt either. Oh, you know why I've taken so long? I mean, part of it is that I've just been going slowly, but I forgot that I did the second floor twice, which admittedly probably only adds like 3 minutes, but actually maybe even less, but it does make a difference. Now I don't feel so bad. Probably not going to open that. Even though we need keys, we're not really in, you know, any rush there. That was very smart. At least we have invincibility, so I don't have to get hurt on the way in. And I was going to do it anyway, so... Truth be told, if you're going to take damage, that's one of the better times to do it, I guess. It didn't really inhibit us at all. I was wondering how I got so many flies, but I guess it's just infestation combined with being bad and taking damage. Yeah, push that bomb into a safe place where it can't possibly hurt any of your enemies. Good idea. Chose to ignore that Eternal Heart because I really like our permanent Polaroid invincibility combined with Sacrificial Dagger here. And it's everybody's favorite Womb 1 boss, Conquest! Boo! Get off the stage! You fucking suck, Conquest! Oh, come on now, guys. Don't be rude. That's just, you're being rude. I really don't want the shovel. I don't think that's a controversial viewpoint, but I really, really do not want the shovel. Curse of the Unknown? Well, if we take like 14 hits, I'll start to feel a little paranoid for many reasons, but mostly about our HP. For now, I'm feeling pretty good. We're basically unkillable because every 6 times we get hit, we get another black heart right away, right? That's me being facetious. Was that a joke, Bobby? If I could give you another piece of advice, it's watch a lot of movies. Because when you inevitably start your YouTube career, you're basically, like, you don't have to come up with any original jokes of your own. You pretty much just have to reference a line from a movie that came out when you were 16, and then everyone else that's, you know, part of your generation will go, ho ho! I remember that, and as a result, I think it's funny. And then if you really want to get, you know, a little bit more intellectual with your comedy, you can throw in some parodies, because some song parodies, you know, those are pretty much the height of comedic originality. As far as I know, nobody else has ever done it. What, Al? Nah, never heard of him. Don't really want to play Judgment. Don't really want to open that either, to be honest. I don't really want to do anything. Just a general malaise right now. I forgot that also we have 10 lives, so the odds of our, you know, Ankh being used here are still pretty low, but if it has to happen, we'll still be able to win on our Ankh life. I get up when I die, but I only respawn with 3 spirit hearts. Ankh life. That parody's going nowhere. Let's just move along here. So I'm gonna do the thing you should not do, which is be an idiot when you fight Isaac, and I'm gonna use Sacrificial Dagger as like an offensive orbital in the hopes of speeding up the fight a little bit. But also, you know, I was thinking it could block some damage as well. Didn't really work out according to plan, but that's okay. Again, we're going to win. And I could, perhaps, if I wanted to, pop High Priestess. But I guess we'll just save that for the Blue Baby fight or maybe some more difficult enemies on the next floor. Alright, we got exactly the right number of keys. Let's do this up. Nope. I don't even know how that affects things, to be honest with you. I'm assuming, if nothing else, it probably makes our charge time much longer. But I'm a sucker for finding those weird synergies out. It doesn't really seem like it has helped our damage, but I'll be honest, rather than just like trying to garner sympathy, I don't think it's really made our charge time that much longer either. I think it's actually kept us like pretty much neutral. And the Mom's Contact pickup is obviously huge. Every time we get a freeze, we can sneak in there with Sacrificial Dagger and pretty much do what we did against Isaac, except have a much lower chance of actually taking damage ourselves. which is, like, substantially better for business. Timed it inappropriately here. Excuse me. Could you just, like, die here? That would be a lot better for me. Man, Dead Bird should basically just come in with, like, a built-in BFF. So we can have Blank Card High Priestess. I don't think Blank Card High Priestess is that riveting. You may disagree, and if so, I apologize, because I will not be taking it at this juncture. I think it's okay. But, I'd rather have Satanic Bible, let's put it that way. I did pop that in time to get another charge. Well, like another 1/6 of a charge, I should say. Yeah, very smart idea, just run right into the enemy. How long does the Mom's Contact effect last? Probably like infinite, right? Yeah, it probably never ends. That's alright. Sloppy play here, but, you know. It's like we're like the New England Patriots and we're playing the Oakland Raiders right now. No offense if you're a Raiders fan, but you probably got a thick skin. So I think you can take it. Let's sneak in there. I don't have any bomb synergies, right? Like, I have Bobby Bob-Bomb. Brother Bobby Bob-Bomb. Ah! I didn't think that he was going to survive that, and then I didn't remember what direction he was going, or if that direction is even relevant. We can afford to make some mistakes, but I'll admit I'm probably playing like substantially worse than I should be here. We'll throw in some homing bombs. We'll use those against the final boss as well. That was not placed properly to get the second secret room. Are you fucking kidding me? Did it move when I wasn't paying attention to it? Because it looked pretty close. I'm not going to say it was bang on, but come on. Ah, yeah, Dark Bum. Alright. So what you do is you get Dark Bum to take every single one of these. And then you leave, because otherwise he's only going to pay out with red hearts, because the secret room defines the type of hearts that he pays out with, weirdly enough. That's so, I mean, that looked pretty shitty, but I'm actually relatively content. One spirit heart and a friendly spider. It's not a good outcome, but it's enough. You know, we don't really need a great outcome in order to succeed here. I'll take Guillotine just because I think with Guillotine and Sacrificial Dagger, it makes it a lot less likely that I'll accidentally take damage by bumping into enemies like a freaking idiot, like I've been doing consistently. Rarely do you find a boss room down. It's usually further away. Now we just get the fudge in there. Usually it's a little further away. And of course, you know, just by having the Guillotine, we basically have an extra orbital. Oh, he's not frozen! We basically have an extra orbital, and an extra orbital that does, like, some damage. Plus, if I remember correctly, the Guillotine also gives you a damage upgrade. Now, it's probably not a considerable one. I might be mistaken about that, though. I guess we'll be going this way. It also makes it completely implausible for you to pick up consumables, which is an added benefit, if by benefit you mean extreme detriment. Weirdly enough, that is our secret room, accessible to us. I guess those shots count as explosions, which actually makes sense because when you have pyro, you're often immune to the spikes from, like, the cage. So I guess the spike attacks count as explosions. Not a very smart bit of damage from me there. That's helpful, though. That is not helpful, but this red heart could be nice. Nothing yet, but eventually. Eventually. Let's try to kill Sloth last. High Priestess is good, but a Hierophant card would allow us to keep the High Priestess and be better. Can't believe we didn't get hit there. Bob's Rotten Head, also just a very clutch item, extremely important. In the extended universe, Bob's Rotten Head is the most powerful item. Most people don't know that. That's what the community needs, man, is a Binding of Isaac extended universe. I'll write the novelizations. Get in touch, Ed/Tyrone. You know, I go to a bookstore, I see a bunch of Minecraft books. You could be the next Notch, man. You could be the next fucking Super Notch. You think $1 billion is cool? You know what's cooler? Slightly more than, well, it's like 10 billion, right? Slightly more than 10 billion, wait, 2 billion. Slightly more than $2 billion. We can do it, man. How hard could it be? With inflation, $2 billion in 2016 is only, that's like 1.9 right now. It's easy. Alright, so that's another relatively easy win. The streak's getting up there. We're at 8 in a row. And I would like to point out the time that we killed ourselves in that deal with the devil, it was kind of a little... I took issue with it, let's put it that way. So really, I feel like we're at an infinite streak right now, but I hope you enjoyed the run. If you did, click the like button, it helps out a great deal. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.